Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another Women of Horror Spotlight. Today I have with us, she is a creator, writer of a new comic book, indie horror comic book adventure series that's called Worthy Chaos. I have with us Carissa Grant. Carissa, welcome to the Horror Room.
Hi, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure having you on.
Thanks.
Now, tell us a little bit about Worthy Chaos.
So, Worthy Chaos is a mix of Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Supernatural and Silent Hill and the Resident Evil world with like Evil Dead and The Crow all thrown in. It's all influenced me to mostly it started with Resident Evil. I played the game Resident Evil 2 back in the day, and I got obsessed with it and role played as Claire Redfield for like 15 years. So, so this was written while role playing. So it wasn't intentionally made for a comic book. And something that makes it very unique is because we were role players, the two main characters are written by two different people. So I'll write a chapter in Seraphina's point of view, and then my co-writer will write Draven's point of view, and then I mix them together so that we have a comic book. So when you're reading it and you read Draven or Seraphina, they have completely different personalities because we have completely different personalities. So it makes it a little bit more unique. We never write for the other character. The other characters we kind of share, what we write for them, but for the main characters we never write for the other one, and we thought that was pretty unique for the comic book. And it wasn't intentional, but we have over 100 issues written, and we're still writing. So we figured we should do something with it. So this series 1 is actually 44 issues already written, and 10 is live now as of this posting. But we're actually about to start drawing issue 16. So we're kind of ahead. So you're getting your comic book, you're getting the next one, and we usually ship out about a day or two after we end, because we have them printed, and pretty much we just try to get them out as fast as we can because our next Kickstarter will be 4 weeks after.
Wow.
So yeah, it's such a long series that we want to just keep releasing them. We're trying to build the trust, because one of the things that's scary about Kickstarter is you don't know if you're going to get your comic after you pay. I mean, I hear the horror stories of people waiting 2 years for a comic, and they give the rest of us a bad name, the indie creators that are responsible and get everything out, So it's a horror adventure. It follows Seraphina, which is an angel descendant, and Draven, which is a demon descendant. And their fathers, an angel and a demon, are after her because she was created from this angelic weapon. And if they can get a hold of this weapon, it can tip the scales of the war between heaven and hell in their favor. However, it requires Seraphina's soul to activate it, and once they use her soul, she will no longer reincarnate or be able to see Draven again. So obviously they're not for that. So it's a survival horror. They go through a town that's merged with hell, and they have to fight hellhounds and Anubis and ghosts and vampires and giant salamanders and all that fun stuff. So a lot happens. So it is very fast paced, especially the first two. In my defense, it is called Chaos. So, but it's very fast paced, very action packed, a little gory. Especially the second page is pretty gory. We wanted to let you know off the bat that it was gory. So I think the second page is like the worst one. But yeah, so if you don't mind cursing or gore or action, you'll like this comic. So
love it. I mean, listen, you fucking had me at Resident Evil Silent Hill. So I'm huge. Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm a gamer. I'm a huge Resident Evil and Silent Hill fan. I remember having the PS1. I'm sure my age, but
no, I will tell you. What started it all? I don't know if you remember this, because you're obviously around my age. So there was a commercial for Resident Evil 2 where the crocodile comes out to get Leon.
Yes.
And I don't know why, that made me want to play it. I don't even think I was paying attention to this crocodile, alligator, whatever comes out of the sewer. I went out, bought PlayStation 1, and rented the game so that I can play it. And I had only played Atari before, so here's me showing my age. And Duck Hunt, of course.
Love it.
I could not get Leon. There was no instructions, so I could not get Leon to walk anywhere but into the fire. So I was getting really, really mad, and I like threw the controller. And my brother, who's older than me, he's been playing, Zelda since he, came out of the womb. He picks it up and starts playing, and I got so mad. I like kicked him out of the room, and I was like, get out of the room. So I started playing it, and I was addicted from like the get-go. Like I loved it. And then I went out and bought the game, and for some reason Final Fantasy VII, and I was so mad that there was an auto aim. I was like, what? How is there an auto aim? So yeah. And then when Silent Hill came out, man, that was some scary stuff. I mean, I love Resident Evil, but nothing scared me like Silent Hill. I mean, it's just
Silent Hill is absolutely disturbing, especially part 2.
The music,
and
the
part 3.
fog, everything.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, everything about it. I mean, for a video game, right, to have a music score like it did. And like, I remember Silent Hill 3 even came out with a soundtrack that was attached to it. And like, it was just so disturbing. And it was, but going back to Resident Evil, those two games, Silent Hill and Resident Evil, it was the first time that like you were playing a video game. It was like you were captured into a horror movie.
Yeah.
And like, and the story just had you addicted from beginning to end. Yeah. And you couldn't wait for the next one. Like, I mean, Resident Evil is like the only series. I know people go and pre-order and wait in line for Madden and stuff like that, but like for me, it's always Resident Evil. Like Resident Evil is the one game series that I still rock and roll with.
Every system I bought was because a Resident Evil came out on it. GameCube, I had to buy GameCube. I mean, it was like every system. I was
Resident Evil Zero.
Yeah. Yep. And that was awesome, except for I really missed the magical box. I don't care how unrealistic that shit was. I was like, I have to remember where I dropped everything, and I think I dropped it all in the foyer because I was like, I had to remember all these things were, but man, I was like, bring that back. And I do have, every issue has an Easter egg, from a horror, usually the 80s and 90s horror, movie, game, whatever. I think 3 of them are Resident Evil. Issue 2 has the typewriter on the desk that you save. And my artist had to redo it because like, no, it has to have the cartridges. You have to see the cartridges. And I think in book 2 is the plant in the hallway, the red plant. And I think in 13 was the health spray on the shelf was a health spray. So Resident Evil is my all-time favorite. Silent Hill scared the heck out of me. And for this, the first 7 issues, which it makes book 1. I can show you. We have this is our hardcover. So our hardcover has issues 1 through 7. It's 222 pages. So this is pretty much more Silent Hill. So they're in the town. The town merges with hell, and not everyone's going to notice it. But while she's walking into town, there's a crack that follows her. And that's what separates, so they can't get out later. So that's the Silent Hill, and then you have the Hellhounds coming through, and skeletons coming through, and all this stuff coming through. So the very Silent Hill is the very first major 7 issues, and then you have issues 8 through 12, which is kind of like Resident Evil 1 and 2 put together because we have these giant. I don't know if I have my plushie. The giant salamanders. Let's see. Oh, he's somewhere. We have a plushie for all of our stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we have hellhounds. We have our mental patient zombies that have. You can put your patient, whatever you want for the patient number, like your birthday or somebody that drives you crazy, their birthday. So for issues 8 through 12, you have them in a haunted asylum that they can't leave. And I know you're my age, but I don't know if you ever played Seventh Guest. Did you ever play Seventh Guest?
I've heard of Seventh Guest, but I never played it.
So you kind of get trapped in this place with ghosts. It's kind of like that, and you try to figure out why these ghosts are there. But we have these giant lickers that are like our giant salamanders that are homage to the lickers, and then you have the ghost in there, and then you have the mental patient zombies that are there. But issues 14 through 22nd, which is my absolute favorite. You're not supposed to have favorite, but those are my favorites. It's all Resident Evil 2. They're trapped in this zombie-infested town, and they run into other survivors, and they're trying to get through it and all this stuff. And so I absolutely love that. They get trapped in the military hospital that's like the police station. Nice. And they have to find, I had to put keys in there, so they have to find keys to get out because it wouldn't be Resident Evil without keys. So yeah, that's my absolute favorite. It's those are just the best. So yeah, it's got a lot of those tendencies in it, and if you like any of those, you'll love the story because it's all in there.
Yeah, did you get any inspiration from Devil May Cry? Because it sounds like some Devil May Cry is
I love Devil May Cry. Yeah, like absolutely love Devil May Cry. I thought he was the coolest character, and Devil May Cry. And I don't know if you remember, what is it, Reaver or I'm gonna say it wrong, but he's this really cool creature that I just saw it, and now I can't think of the name, but I think it's like Reaver or something. And it's like this demon-looking thing that you're playing it, and you have to like travel through these different dimensions. I'll have to look it up what it is, but he's blue. That's all I remember is he's blue, and it's been a long time. And there's been so many games that I've played that are probably all in this. I don't even know like half the names. There was this one game once, so weird. And I don't quote me on this because I don't want to be like sued for slander or anything. Yeah. I really think that Stranger Things took the idea from this video game that I played. It was this character that looked just like 7 or 11. And she's, I think in the story it was a he. And he had these powers that he uses his mind to like pop their heads and stuff. But like, if he doesn't take his pills, it overpowers him. So like you're like walking through, and while your brain is about to explode, you can pop the heads of the people in the asylum as you try to escape. I have no idea what this game was called. It was PlayStation 2, I think. But man, I can't remember it. But when I was watching Stranger Things, it just came running back where I was like, oh, that is totally that game. Just like I'm convinced that Jurassic World is the chick from Dino Crisis. I even think her name was Claire in that.
It is. It is that. Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, wait a minute. What the heck is this?
But Dino Crisis, and there was another one called Parasite Eve.
Yes.
Those are two survival horror games that get no fucking love.
Right?
And they're absolutely
Parasite was awesome.
They
were fucking amazing. Was there 2 Parasites or only 1?
There was 2 Parasite.
Yeah. That's a good game. Man, now you're making me play, man.
It's so creepy too. It's so creepy.
I can't remember anything about it. I just remember it's creepy. There was another one that was like Resident Evil, and Dino Crisis, but with vampires. And I can't remember anything. I just remember they were vampires, and you'd go through like this haunted house. Yeah, there's so many good games. There were so many good games back then. I'm sure there's great games. I haven't played games in like forever because today's day and age, I am so glad I got out of it before there was online games, because I would have been like 24/7 at my computer, because it was bad enough when I used to role play. I'd be there from like 7 a.m. to like 7 a.m. the next day. Like I'd just be like role playing all day.
Resident Evil 5, I think that might have been the last one, might be the one and only, but it gave you the option to do co-op, and you go online and play with another character and play the game through.
I did.
One was Shiva and one was Chris.
Chris, yeah.
And that was so much fucking fun.
Yeah, it really was fun.
You had a partner to go through that terrifying mess with.
See, I like that. I have not played. I'm gonna get it wrong. What's the new one?
Oh, Village.
There, but there's the one Dead by Dawn. Is that it? Or Dead by Daylight?
Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, it's like Leon's in there, right? You could play. There's Leon.
You can play a lot of people.
I didn't buy it because I knew I would never stop playing it. But my friend played it. One of my clients played it. And I was there watching her. I was like, oh, I want to play this game so bad. I mean, I don't think Claire was in there yet, but she had Jill, Rebecca, Leon. And I could play that non. I was like, this is probably not.
It's like drugs.
Yeah,
It's
it
like
really
drugs.
is. So bad. I mean, it's just like the people today, the new generation. That's Netflix. Oh, just one more episode. Back then, I was like, oh, one more board, or one more save point. Just one more save. I was so obsessed with the original Resident Evil 4 that I was just talking about this in my show on Monday. I had a DVD. I had a DVD-R. And I recorded myself playing so that I could put it on a DVD. So somewhere in here, I have 5 hours of gameplay of Resident Evil 4 of me playing. And now you just go on YouTube and just watch whatever. But I was so obsessed with it. I loved everything about it. And let me tell you, I'm going to tell you, I ask questions on my Facebook all the time. And one of them was, what movie trailer disappointed you, or what movie disappointed you the most from trailers? Let me just tell you, I remember, because back in the day, I'm a Gen Xer, back in the day, you didn't see videos or trailers on YouTube. You had to go to the movie theater and see the trailer. I remember sitting in the theater, I can't tell you what movie I was there to see. Resident Evil came on, and it was a commercial for Umbrella. So it just kind of shows you, all I remember is this blue screen, and they show you the virus, and I was so excited for this movie. And when it came out, it didn't have one of my characters in it. And I was so mad. So mad. And you know what? It's not the worst movie ever, but I was so mad at it. I couldn't even appreciate it. I was just so mad.
Well, I had the same experience. So I saw that trailer and I almost fucking had an orgasm in the movie theater. I was like, oh my God, fucking Resident Evil's having a fucking movie. I was like, and I remember I went on a Saturday morning to see it. I went to see old people time, matinee movie time. Mm-hmm. And they were giving away a free Resident Evil comic book, which I still have.
Nice. I didn't get this.
You didn't get a comic book? It was amazing. And I'm sitting there watching this fucking movie. And I'm like, it wasn't a bad movie. Listen, it wasn't a bad movie. I was like, this is not fucking Resident Evil. No. And then this is not fucking Resident Evil. And then the part 2 of the movie came out, and I was like, and I kept hearing, well, this is more like the video game. I was like,
I was like, all right, Jill.
Yeah, and I was like, this is not the fucking video game. And I gave up on that horrible series of movies. And people love that series. But I feel like people who like the Resident Evil movie series are not Resident Evil video games.
No. It is not the same thing. And I remember that I was mad at, what is it, Mila? Is that her name, Mila? I was mad because she stole all of Claire's moves. So there's this move that she does, and I don't remember what movie it was. She runs past these windows, and the helicopter shoots out the windows as she runs. That's Claire from Code Veronica. So I was super pissed. I was like, who are you to take my bitch's freaking thing? Screw you. Mm-hmm. And then they made Claire blonde in the third one. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Then they gave her super red hair in 4. And I was just like, why are you doing this to me? And then I was like, okay, they have Leon in 5. I think it was 5. I'm going to watch it because I love Leon. And then they made him this pathetic puppy dog following Ada around. What did you do to my character? I mean, I was watching this movie. I was like, did this person even watch? I can't think of his name, but he made a lot of love it, Leon. So this, not to cut you off, but I had this made in the 90s by this chick in Japan that did not speak English, and I didn't speak Japanese, but she makes these dolls, and she will only make one ever character. So she had the best dolls. She had Link and everything. I can't remember what I paid for this. It was probably $500. I don't even know, I don't even know how I paid it. I don't know how I talked to her. I think I was just this, and here's my card. That's what I remember. Well, I couldn't even talk to her. It wasn't like you can Google translate it. And I was so upset. And then it came. It probably took 6 months. And I was so excited when that damn thing comes that I have been holding on to this thing for 30-something years now. So yeah,
I wish we were talking. I wish I knew we were here geeking out about Resident Evil. I would have shown you my 4-foot Chris Winfield figure I have. He's 4 foot tall.
I I am already jealous. I had the Leon cutout. I don't anymore. I got ruined in the move. But I had the Leon cutout from Resident Evil 4 because I kind of flirted with the nerds at the store.
Mhm.
So I was able to get the demo for Resident Evil 4 before anyone else had it. And I'll just tell you right now, I could not get into the village. Like I was trying, I kept getting killed, before I got to the village. And I was like, this sucks. Like, I'm usually really good at this. Why can't I get in it? So I kept getting killed by the chainsaw guy. So I finally got in, and I realized you can put the thing to block the window so he can't get in the door or something. So I'm upstairs snipering, and I'm thrilled that I finally got inside this house, not realizing that the chainsaw guy got in. So all of a sudden, he cuts me in half, and I screamed so loud that my boyfriend ran down, like, what happened? I was like, I got killed by a chainsaw. He's like, I hate you. And I was like, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm so jealous.
Now, the Resident Evil game that scared the shit out of me was Part 7, which was Biohazard. That game, that's the one where you're going to look for your wife in her parents' house, and her parents are fucking, her family are the deranged, crazed, infected individuals. That game was so fucking terrifying. It was so disturbing. It was so scary. That is, that it's not my favorite. My favorite shit. I'm trying to think. If I had to rank listen. What are you? Okay, rank your top 5 Resident Evil games. Go ahead.
Resident Evil 2, because that was the first one I ever played. Resident Evil 2, the original. Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 1, which wasn't my favorite because you don't have a relieve kind of thing. Resident Evil 3, and then I didn't play. Wait, I played. There was another one. There was like some random game that I played. It was like Claire, like on a portable thing.
Okay, I didn't play the portable.
I didn't play it. I forgot. I got to see it, and I was mad because I wanted it, but it was like a playable game. But I didn't play. I played it, I think, eventually, but I skipped. There was one without. If it didn't have any of the original characters from 1 or 2, I got mad at the game. So there was like one game in between, right, that had like all the had new characters. I can't think of. It's gonna drive me crazy. It's like Resident Evil. Is it Redemption?
See, I never played those ones. I
didn't either.
The number ones.
Yeah, I only played the ones. If it didn't have Chris, Jill, Claire, one of those. Oh, I forgot about 0. So okay, let's go 2, 4, 0. I say 3 and 1.
Okay, but that's a good one. Hold on. Let me think real quick. The order of mine, real quick. Okay, part 4 is obviously number 1 on my list. I'm putting part 4. Number 2, believe it or not,
I played it first. I have loyalty to it. I also played it in any which way you can play it.
Code Veronica is my number 2.
Oh, I love. Me too.
Code Veronica has such a good story.
It really does.
An amazing story. So I'm gonna put that as my number 2. Number 3, part 2, the police station, going out in the streets with the fire. Part 2, part 1 was like the OG, but part 2 just added on to it like by 10.
I'm gonna change my answer because I prefer Code Veronica over 1. I didn't really like 1. I liked it, but I already played 2, and you can't really go to 1 and then 2 because like there's no comparison to it.
Part 2 is fucking whoa! It just blew the first one out. So I'm putting part 2 as number 3. Number 4, I am going with who? Okay.
Okay.
I'm going with Nemesis. Nemesis is going to be part 3.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's going to be number 4.
Okay.
Now,
I have my list.
Number 5. Even though I love Biohazard, which is part 7, I thought that was terrifying. And this is going to get a piece of shit. I like part 6. I love part 6 because of the replay value. You got a chance to be 4 different characters. You could either be
Wesker.
You got to be Wesker's son, Chris, Leon, and who was the third one? Was it Claire?
No, it wasn't Claire. Jill, I think, or was it Jill or Rebecca? It was one of those.
I want to say it was Jill. It was one of them. But
Yeah.
like you had 4 different. I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, I mean, in all the Resident Evil movies, I mean, games, you could play different characters, but there was certain little small differences between the walkthrough, but it was pretty much the same damn story.
Yeah.
But this was the first one where each character had a completely different story.
Yeah. Okay, so my final answer is going to be 2, 4, 0, code, and 6. And only because I didn't play 6 as much because I was getting out of games then, and I should have played it more. I still have it, probably.
Part 6 is fun. I mean, that's everybody's least favorite. But I do like 0 too. I mean, listen, there's not a bad game. I'm talking about in the series. To me, there's not a bad game. I'm probably going to put and Biohazard were so fucking good. Part 7, it was so terrifying. But I mean, that's my least favorite, and it was almost a perfect game. But it's my least favorite. The reason it was my least favorite because they changed it up so much. Like, you know, it was a different. I mean, they did that whole like Call of Duty stance, but not even like Part 4. Like all you saw was hands, and I didn't like that, and the whole entire control scheme kind of screwed me up. Like, and like the constant, you know, her father chasing you out of blue. I didn't like that. I was on pins and needles. Like it was hard to figure out puzzles and so forth when you're on pins and needles because any second somebody can jump out. And in that game, you had to do a lot of backtracking, to like get from one place, and it was just too much. It was just too much.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So what was your final list?
So my final list is Part 4, which is Leon. Solo game. I fucking love that. I mean, it's a perfect game. Absolute perfect game. Fun. Code Veronica comes in number 2. Part 2, which for a while was my favorite. Comes in number 3. Nemesis Part 4, because I mean Nemesis himself is the baddest fucking villain in a Resident Evil game by far.
Yep.
And then Part 6 because it had 4 different characters, 4 different stories.
Yeah. Huh, nice. Good list. Yep. Now you make me want to
play. Now, my favorite Silent Hill game, I'm going to give you my top 2. Part 2 is the best. Part 2 is the best by far.
I think that was my favorite.
And then close second, I mean, okay, it's a tie. What's tied for the second is Part 3. Part 3, to have a woman main character in it, and she was a little girl almost too. Like, so like you had to deal with, you know, the weakness of a little girl, but she also had to be so strong to make it through this. It just added, I love that element to it. And Silent Hill: The Room, which most people have not played. Silent Hill: The Room is fucking amazing because you're trapped in this guy's apartment. He's a writer. You're trapped in his apartment. Only way you can get out of his apartment is by keep going through this hole in the wall, which sends you to Silent Hill Land. Silent Hill: The Room is an amazing game.
Huh. I didn't know. The only thing I hated about, I think it was 3, I did not like it when you're walking down a hallway and all of a sudden the camera turns and it's looking at you. Like, and you have to keep turning it around. It was
camera angles were annoying.
So frustrating. And was it 1? Then these had nothing to do with the game, but there was these little shadow children in the school. Was that 1 or 2?
I want to say it was part. Might have been Part 2.
Those things I took forever to try to figure out. They had no purpose whatsoever, and I just spent so much time on them because I'm like, what is the point of these little things? These little shadow things that run and then trip. And then that's all they do. They don't do anything. And I wasted so much time. And I was like, there has to be a reason. No, they were just there to mess with you. So, but yeah.
Survival horror games are so much fucking fun. Like, man. I don't get the new kids who like playing Minecraft and shit like that. Like, I don't get that. Yeah. I don't get that.
Minecraft, whatever. Game. I don't know any of those.
Like, survival horror is where it's at.
I'll send you So I before I made comics, I made fan videos for my characters, and I made one of them in Silent Hill, and it came out so good. Now I don't have any editing skills, but it came out really good. And the siren goes off, and I have them looking at the wall as it fades from the movie and everything. I'll have to send it to you. Okay. But that like siren was like in my nightmares, like this just siren going off and walking on the metal, like hearing your footsteps on the metal is just insane. So yeah, that was a terrifying game.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, all right. So the back issues in your hard copy, how do people get those?
Actually, everything is available on the Kickstarter. So you can actually get issue 1 if you want. You don't have to get anything else. So issue 1, both PDF and the printed, you can get as its own tier. You don't have to get current. You don't have to do anything. Or you can get like issue 1 PDF, issue 2 print, and then like 1 or 2 in the add-ons. So all of them are in the add-ons, including any variants that are available. So yeah, you can get everything. There's a higher tier where you can get everything all at once. It's a little bit cheaper. It's not cheap, but it's cheaper than getting them all. And a lot of people get the tier that's the hardcover, and then the 2, I guess it'll be now 3 singles, because you can catch up with that. That's a little bit more affordable because the hardcover is only $39 and it has the first 7.
Oh,
yeah, I got yelled at because it was too cheap. I was like, well, not from people that were buying it, from other creators, like that's too cheap. Yeah. But I bought like 500 of them to get like a really good discount, and I wanted people to be able to afford it because I wasn't doing a soft version, so I wanted them to be able to afford the hardcover, and I love the hardcover. So amazing. Yeah, so you can get it for $39, or you could just get the tier with that one, and so you can get caught up with the hardcover and the 3 new ones. It would be $69 for all of 1 through 10, if you want.
Okay, sweet.
So yeah, and we have a really cool cover. Let's see if I have it here. I know it's somewhere. So I don't know if you're into comic books or whatever, but there's a Marvel artist called Ivan Tao, who's absolutely phenomenal. But he did my cover, my variant cover, and this is it in metal. So wow. Yeah, there's Serafina. She's in a nursing outfit, which actually is in the story for anyone that's going to yell at me. So this is the back. But yeah, so it really came out really nice. He did a phenomenal job. So that's going to be available too. But yeah, it was so funny because I got asked like, how did she get a nurse's outfit? And everyone's like, oh, that was clever. You have a nurse's outfit. It's like, it was not intentional. Well, I love my artist. He's been with me since we redid issue 1. And he has the worst memory in the world. So while he was drawing, I guess it was issue, 9. I think it was 9. He kept forgetting to put the wound she had in her arm, and we had to keep going back and putting it in. So I was like, I just have to get rid of the shirt so he doesn't have to worry about the wound anymore. So now I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, what could she find in a haunted asylum from like the 50s that she's going to wear? I was like, if she could find a shirt, but I was like, then what color is it going to be? Like, it literally was driving me crazy. I was like, you know what? She's just going to find a nurse outfit. It became that she just found a nurse outfit, and she like had the hat and everything, which then became a nightmare because he kept forgetting the hat. But she was there all dressed up with the hat, and Draven's like, okay, I get you had to switch, but what's with the hat? She's like, it completes the outfit. And she just, I love her in the nurse's outfit, and
I'm getting that very copy, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you autograph mine too? Will you autograph mine for me? Yep. Awesome.
You got it. Awesome. Yeah, and so she looks absolutely gorgeous in it, and it's so funny. And she's wearing the heels. So most of the guys love the nurse's outfit, but it was not a marketing ploy. It was just purely like, what the hell can she wear? Now it became like a joke. So she gets a new one in which became another joke because she was in a hospital and she had to switch clothes, and she's like, why is it always the nurse's outfit? But she got like a more modern one, so it's a little lower cut, and it's like, so love she got that again. Yeah. So I love the nurse's outfit. My artist loves it. So obviously it worked out. But this will be the first issue with her in it. So I'm excited that she gets to wear her little nurse's outfit. So yeah.
And by the way, everyone, go down into the description box. I have the link to the Kickstarter for Worthy Chaos.
Yeah.
Make sure to go ahead
and for anyone that forgets the link or thinks about it later, the easiest way to find it is to search Worthy Chaos, where the only thing pops up. Granted, there's like 10 of them. 10 of them will pop up. But Worthy Chaos were the only thing there. So it works out really well, which I'm so glad I picked that name because I suck at names. Like it's awful. I hate thinking of names, and that one came to me surprisingly easy. So it used to be called, before we actually were going to release it or anything, we were calling it ourselves, and I can't even say it. I'm dyslexic, so I can barely say certain words. So it would have been a horrible name anyway. But it was Fated Chaos. However, there's like 3 novel series with that. So I was like, well, I can't use that. So I'm like, what the hell am I going to use now? It's got to have chaos in it. Yeah. And I was so upset, and I couldn't think of what we're going to call it. And it was driving me crazy. And he says something throughout the series. It's kind of a half joke for him. He always says that she's worth it because she causes all this trouble because her angelic blood, like, attracts everything horrible and negative. And so she's always causing him trouble since the day one. So she's always feels bad. She feels guilty. She's like, I wish I didn't cause all of this. And he always says, you're worth it. So I was like, well, she's Worthy Chaos. And that's just popped in. And my co-writer was like, that's awesome. And I was like, that's it. Worthy Chaos. So,
easy as that.
Yeah. It's just like it was meant to be. And I was so excited when I hired an artist. It did not go out. It did not go well. My first 2 artists, I lost like $9,000 on, which sucks. But I love my new artist. He had never worked in comics before. I did not like his style that he had displayed because he was a portrait. He did portraits for a living. So like they were so realistic. I was like, why would I want realistic for, a comic book? So I had been searching for, since my first artist stole like $3,000 from me, and I tried to fix it with $2,000. So I lost like $5,000 on that one. So I was trying to find an artist, and I was so tired because, I probably wasted thousands of dollars trying to find an artist because you get character designs and you try to get, a page and you want to see, and they were good artists, but they never fit what was in my head. I'm like, why can't you see what's in my head? So I had like 5 people working on a page, and he's like, are you taking any more submissions? And I was like, listen, if you want to do one for free, I'll look at it first. If you don't, then you could just wait till these 5 are done. If I don't pick one, I'll pay you for a page. He's like, I'll do one for free. 24 hours. It was pencil, inked, colored, and lettered, like 6 panels. And they looked phenomenal. I was like, you're freaking hired, man. I was like, oh, nice. You're hired. So I paid everyone to go away, and I was like, let's get to work. And he's nonstop. He just keeps drawing them out.
And let's give him a shout out.
Yeah, Jonas DaCosta is absolutely phenomenal. Ever since he started, I think around issue 4 or 5, he started going to school, and you could see like I always thought it was good, obviously, but it got like 10 times better. He just kept doing better and better, and like, especially when you get to like issue 8 on, he's just phenomenal. So I got really freaking lucky because he's just as obsessed with it as I am, which is fantastic because I'm super obsessed with it, in case you couldn't tell. And so, he does like a whole issue inked in a month. Like, he quit his job to do this, which terrified me, by the way, because it was like issue 2. I have no idea what I'm doing, and he's like, I'm going to quit my job and do this full time. I was like, are you crazy? I have no idea how this is going to do. So yeah, but it's been doing pretty good. And I just feel really lucky to have him to do it. And yeah, and like my wallet hates how fast he goes, but I love how fast he goes. So there's like, he's on vacation for 2.5 weeks, and I was torn between being excited for my wallet, to like have a break, to like, where are my pages? Like, I'm having withdrawals from my pages. Like, what are you doing? So yeah, it's tough, but he's so good at doing the characters' expressions and the movements, and there's a lot of panels. So when we first started, and this is a reflection on me, not him, for anyone that doesn't want to hire him because I'm going to say this, we fought for all of issue 2, which is the first issue he came in on. And we fought because he had a vision and I obviously had a vision, and neither one of us knew what we were doing. So I was getting so mad. And my husband's like, you have to find somebody else. Like, no, he's the one. I need to figure out how to make this work. And I figured out that I had to lower my panel count to give him room to play with panels, because I only give him like, I think my new count's about 4. So I'll give him like 3 to 5 instead of like 6 to 8, which is what I was doing. And then he turns it into these like fantastic, action-packed scenes. So it worked out really well. And as soon as I let him do his thing, it was like 1,000 times better. And then we're like, well, now you have to redo 1 because I hated the first one, the first artist, and he abandoned me, and I want them to all look alike. And I literally asked every single person, should I redo 1? And they're like, you spent $5,000 on 1. No. And I was like, okay. And then I asked somebody else, waiting for the answer. And then finally someone's like, yeah, you should redo it. I was like, done. I was like, okay. And so I redid it. He redid it. And he was leaving for a month to Brazil or something. And I was like, you have to redo 1. And he was like, okay. So he like worked like morning and night, weekends, just to get this issue done so I can have them all released at once. And it worked out so good. And I had to tip him a bonus, and he's like, you don't have to tip me a bonus. I was like, no, you worked like nonstop. And I think by issue 3, he was like, he knew the characters inside out. He's like, I know these characters now. I know what they're going to do and all this stuff. And so it's worked out really well. Yeah. So I got really lucky. But he's phenomenal. I got like one reviewer like, oh, there's too many panels. Don't you know you can do less panels? I was like, don't look at me. He does it to himself. I didn't do it. Like, I told him I did 2 panels. But yeah, he's like, well, it's not a movie. You don't have to have like every action. I was like, he likes it, and everyone seems to like it. And we also have fair warning. We have thought balloons, which is a very retro thing to have. But back in the day, in the old comic book world, they were like exposition. They weren't like getting into the characters' heads. But we came from writing them like in novel form. So like we wanted to get the characters' thoughts out there. And you could tell who writes who, because Serafina talks nonstop and barely thinks, and that would be me. And then, Draven thinks nonstop and barely talks. So you can tell who writes who. But it really gets into the character's head. So it's kind of like a novel movie comic. You have all these parts of it, and it worked out really well, and I'm super obsessed with it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, I got one question to ask you before we wrap this interview up, and it's going to be a Resident Evil question.
Okay.
So I told you who my favorite villain is, which is Nemesis. Who is yours?
Okay. My favorite villain is the one I hate the most, and that would be Mr. X. He terrified me. He would just bash through walls, and he was so sexist, man. He only went after Claire until the remake. And I was just like, what is this shit that he's only going after Claire? Like, what the hell is this? But yeah, he terrified me. Like I have an homage character called the Reaper in ours. That's like this big, tall skeleton kind of guy with these bone fists, and he terrifies me just like Mr. X did. So yeah, that's my homage to this monster guy that just crashes through walls and shit. So yeah, he terrifies me. So yeah.
Carissa, where can everyone find you?
I'm anywhere Worthy Chaos is. You could search Worthy Chaos. You could search Carissa Grant. And I'm in every platform, but Facebook is the best place to find me. We have a business page. We have a group page. And I have my own personal, Carissa Grant page. And I'm one of the people that would have got kidnapped as a kid. I will talk to anybody. So you can add me on there. I talk to everyone. I have like 5,000 followers. I try to talk to every single person. So yeah, join me on there. And also, every Monday at 8 Eastern, I'm live with other creators. Which by the way, you're always welcome to come on. We literally just hang out and we talk horror, we talk movies, we talk comics, pop culture, whatever. And it's just fun for like an hour or so. So
most definitely. I would love to come on.
Come on anytime, man. It's so much fun. And yeah, so, and of course you can always find me on Kickstarter, Worthy Chaos, and we're always on there, either pre-launch or live. We're always on there. So join it. And I'm sorry if the story is really addicting, because I get yelled at all the time. They're like, when's the next one coming out? I was like, 4 weeks. You got 4 weeks. You can do it. So
well, I can't. Yeah. Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to get my limited edition sexy nurse.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
I'm definitely grabbing that.
Good.
Definitely grabbing that.
I really appreciate you having me on, and I'm sorry I completely talked your ear off and rambled on.
Carissa, no, this was fun. This is fun because I love somebody I can geek out with about Resident Evil and Silent Hill.
Yeah.
I can listen. I can talk hours about that.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
All day on.
Yeah.
All right, listen, everybody, get over to the Kickstarter for Worthy Chaos and go ahead and support them and grab some of these awesome comic books.
Yeah,
like I am.
Check out the tiers, and I'm really sorry about the tiers. I'm going to apologize. There's like 30 of them. There's like I am like a shop, so I'm just going to warn you ahead of time. Take your time, and then you got to go through the add-ons because there's a ton of add-ons. There's plushies. There's only like 1 or 2 of each tops. We have the Anubis plushie, which we have now. We have metal covers, metal trading card. We got it all. So yeah, check it out.
What's the top tier? What's the top tier?
The top tier is every cover ever made with the hardcover variants. There's like 26 issues or something all in there. And then besides the ketchup tiers, I think our highest tier is the plushies because these are all handmade. And then we have a new one this time, but I already know people are going to go for it. So you're probably not going to get it. But this is Chatty. It's our chameleon vampire. He comes in on this issue. And he's super adorable. And you can actually get him pre-ordered if you want with any 2 colors. And there's a wire in his wings. So you can shape his wings. You can shape his tail. And he's absolutely adorable. And he's got little fangs. You can see. But yeah, so this is Puppy Anubis only because he's cute and I wanted him. Everything I have for sale is because I wanted it. I get asked all the time, why do you have so much merch? It's like, I wanted it. And now it's tax deductible selling it to you. So there you go.
A win-win, right?
Yeah, win-win. So make sure you take your time and go look through it all. And I apologize in advance for all the tears you're going to see.
Carissa, it's an absolute blast have you on. By the way, let me know. I would love to come on your show. I think.
Yeah, anytime, man. Absolutely. I'll send you the info after.
Everyone, listen. Thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. She's Carissa Grant. We'll see you next time. Take care.